you are never late. You're only late if you never start. You be talking honest, healthy conversations about money.
Talk to the youth about mobile loans because it's becoming a silent addiction.
Me, I think that was one of the other key things. I was like, we have to talk about money.
This. Yes.
They will talk short term, but you're growing long term.
Yes.
As a youth, for December, I would actually say don't start in December, start in like October. The other question would be, so which money market fund? Tell us an expert.
Tell us not to pay ukweli.
No. But it's true, divorce can destabilize. And I find that in most cases, children are forgotten in that whole journey because as a parents, you're trying to deal with the emotions and the care. But for single parents, it's the same. It's just being able to understand that you are one person taking up two roles. I have my daughters doing work for me and my husband. With the Gen Zs, by the way, there'll be no black tax. So for us millennials, we have to sort ourselves. Our children are not our retirement.
We plan ourselves early. Yes. Welcome to yet another episode of Be That Woman podcast, where we have real conversations with real women on money and business conversations. And today we are sitting with a financial expert. Yes, so many people have requested this. But before we get to that, I would like to give a massive shout out to our sponsors, our space partners, Glee Hotel. Now, if you're looking for a plan for the festivities, because tuko December, and you're looking for where to go, guys, this is the place for you to be. I like to call it Dubai because it actually gives Dubai. So, Northern Bypass, just next to Runda. So, try it and let me know what you think. So thank you so much, Glee, for having us and for giving us this beautiful, lovely space. Also, another shout out to our production sponsors, Tusker Cider, who are the largest cider in East Africa and made in Kenya, straight from red imported apples. So Tusker Cider, thank you so much for believing in women who are elevating themselves. So yet another massive shout out to all our sponsors for powering season 3. All right, so today we are sitting with a financial consultant expert who is also an investment coach, the founder of Finance4Families Podcast, and the mind behind Lefty Kenya, which she will tell us more about that. So Linda teaches families on best practices of financial planning, budgeting, you name it. So with the holidays coming up, we need to talk a lot more about how we are handling our finances. Let's talk about building that emergency fund, building generational wealth, how to plan your monies better, and how to talk to your children about saving from a young age. So, without further ado, join me in welcoming the beautiful, phenomenal Linda Makatiani.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for that introduction.
Yes.
Yes, I think you've said it all, but maybe I am an investment coach. I am a financial literacy trainer. And as you said, my focus, my love is families growing together, building wealth together, not just wealth, but sustainable wealth. And
I like that, sustainable wealth.
Yes, we have to have it being passed on from one generation to the next, and the next, to hopefully infinity.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I've started off gets grown by the next generation and they grow the next.
Yeah.
But how do we do that?
How do we do that is why we are all here. So, guys, I will quote one of Linda's quotes. We can't budget emotions out of our money story, but we can learn to understand them, talk about them, and grow through them. Nimesema ukweli?
Ukweli. Ukweli sana.
Yes. So I like your name, Makatiani. Where are you from?
That's actually my love name. Let me call it like that. So I'm Luo, but I'm married to a Luya. People normally tell me, it sounds Masai, it sounds, and I'm like, no. Hapa tu.
Hapa Western, tuna sisi. Hata tunaweza kuwa mashemeji.
Hapa.
All right. So, guys, as I mentioned, Linda has a podcast. So, since you're on a podcast, I want to talk about that Finance4Families Podcast. Where did that idea come from?
Well, one, from the love of talking, and then I discovered when you're trying to talk to people about money and finances, planning, budgeting, all these things, sometimes and to explain them in a very nice, simplified way, you need to be able to just take your time and explain. So I thought, what is the best way to be able to do that? And I was like, podcast.
Yes.
But my Finance for Families is actually, it comes from my experience and my expertise. So my experience as a mother, I'm a mother of 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a 15-year-old. She just turned 15 on Sunday. Yes.
Linda Wongo.
It's true. I have a 15. Even I get surprised sometimes, like on Sunday, I was having those moments and my husband and I are like, imagine. Like we have a 15-year-old now. Yeah, so we have a 15-year-old. We have a 12-year. Okay, she's not really 12. She's turning 12 in January. And then we have a 6-year-old.
Wow.
The sisters like to say 6, 7.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, because he's been nearly 7. Because you celebrate your fast after 1 year on earth. So as at now, he's 6, 7.
Yeah.
So I'm a mother of 3. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
So that is my experience from a parenting point of view, and then my expertise in the capital markets in Kenya.
Right.
For more than 10 years, I worked in corporate. So when I left, I said I'm not going to leave all of it behind. I need to be able to carry it. And so how do I merge those two? So I felt, yes, my experience as a parent, as a mother, and then my experience and expertise from the capital markets. And that's how Finance for Families came to be. So just getting everyone, individuals and families, being able to have conversations around money, simplifying money, simplifying investing, getting people to understand the importance of saving, and talking honest, healthy conversations about money.
Hey. Honest, healthy
conversations about money. Yes, we have conversations about money, but not all of them are very open.
Right.
Not all of them are honest, and not all of them are healthy. So how do we have those open, honest, healthy conversations about money?
I think I'm also curious to just learn how we're having these conversations. And talking about it, you're a mom of a teenager.
Yes.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Nah, they're about to be 2 teenagers in my house now. Yeah.
The chaos.
The grace of God is sufficient.
It is sufficient. So we're going to get to that and actually talk about how you talk to your children about money, because I can imagine you do.
Yes.
And also, if you're not following Finance for Families podcast, this is your opportunity. Kimbia YouTube, Sahi.
Please
follow. It's called Finance4, number 4.
Yes.
Families. And also her Instagram. You do a lot of financial literacy discussions.
Yes, I do. I share short videos just explaining. I did one the other day on the Safaricom bond. I did one on the EABL bond. And just sharing challenges. I have this segment called Family Financial Fix, where I pick challenges that my followers have shared with me. Yeah, my family and I are trying to do this. So what's the best way to go about it? So I'll just share short videos, just getting people to understand how some of these things are.
Yeah, and I've learned so much from the videos, actually. They're so digestible and you've simplified. Finance can be so hectic and complex.
Yeah, I try. For me, that is a thing. To get people to walk that journey with you, you have to meet them where they are. And not everyone has finance as a background.
Exactly.
So for me, it's very, very important that we get to simplify it so people don't start feeling like, EOC, it's not for me because I didn't do finance.
Exactly.
I'll let, if it's my husband or my people the ones who understand finance are the ones who are going to take it up. No. All of us have a role to play.
I like that. Yeah. All of us.
I
want to talk about Lefty Kenya before we get to the financial conversations.
Yes.
Tell us the inspiration and tell people, what is Lefty Kenya?
So Lefty Kenya was actually the first business I started when I left corporate. My 15-year-old now is a left-hander. She's always been. When we had her, when she went to school, the teachers would always say, oh yeah, she's a slow reader, her work is not very neat. So I started doing research, like, why is it? Then I noticed when you were at home and you were trying to read, we'd open a book, Red Hen, or 3 Little Pigs, and she would want to start reading from the right. And for the rest of us, we always, we open and automatically we go to the left, we read and we move on.
Right.
And from research, I discovered left-handers are right-brained. So for them, naturally, they'll start from the right, going on to the left. For right-handed people, we are left-brained. So we'll start like that. And so doing research, I discovered there are even items, products for left-handed people, specifically designed for left-handers. So I got a few of them in. Went on Facebook. I'm that old.
Talk on Facebook.
So I went on Facebook and I was looking for parents who have left-handed children. And I got quite good response. But I noticed even for her, she's very creative. So she liked cutting stuff. But when she used the normal scissors, she would always look like she's tearing the paper. But when she used left-handed scissors, now she would get
Also,
nice,
we have left-handed
fine
scissors.
Yes, so I brought some in and that became so. And after a while, we started going to schools as well because I realized there were left-handers now who were reaching out and saying, I wish my teachers knew, I wish my parents knew. I suffered so much when I was in school.
Wow.
So we started doing awareness in schools, just getting teachers to understand where do you place left-handers in class? Because if they're writing like this, you can't start writing on that other end. They'll really struggle when, if they're doing any crafty work as a group, how do you place them so that, they're not bumping hands with a right-hander? So very small things. Parents as well, celebrate your left-hander. Not very many people in this world. And if you look at the left-handers out here, Obama.
Yes.
Oprah.
Hey.
Like very
Big names. Wow.
Big names when you go to sports, very big names. They actually have a very good advantage. Left-footers, left-handers in tennis, in golf.
Wow.
Amazing. So it's just bringing this out and getting parents to understand. Huyo mtoto wako, don't try and make them...
They're unique.
Yes, they're very unique. So celebrate that and encourage them. Because when you try to change them, then you're making them use the weaker side of their brain for stuff. And then will be the same parents complaining, why are you doing it like that?
Yeah.
So we need... So,
I
so
think
as
that
at
is,
now...
it's such an untapped area. I don't think I've actually ever thought about it as much.
Most people
until
don't.
now.
Most people don't.
So where do you, you said you go to schools.
Yes.
But how do you advocate now more about it?
Now, not so much because I'm more on the Finance4Families.
Okay.
But when Corona hit, then we were not able to go to school. So now we still have, we have left-handed products online. So we have Lefty Kenya shop on Instagram, on Facebook still. So we have people who keep ordering, especially scissors. For the older left-handers, can openers, wine, oh my God, the corkscrews, the keyboards. So we have all those and we have them online. And I still, once in a while, we have a left-handers community as well. So I'm always encouraging them to talk to other left-handers, talk to the parents of younger left-handers that they know to just support them instead of trying to change them.
Yeah, support instead of trying to change. I like that. That is so inspiring, by the way. I don't know how you thought about that, but it's so different. So
Again,
yes,
my child, God brought her to me for a reason.
Yeah. So guys, if you have a child who is a left-handed, do not try to change them.
Please.
Take them to Linda.
Call me if you're having doubts on how to support them.
Yes.
Do reach out and we'll get you into the right community.
Yes.
Us as parents of left-handers, them as left-handers. And let's support them. Let them embrace their uniqueness.
Amazing. I want to talk about, you mentioned something about when you quit your corporate job. So we want to hear more about that. So quitting your job, was it when the money conversations became scarier? Or did they become louder for you?
I think for me, the main reason I quit my job was because I really wanted to be there for my kids. And I saw the way I was going. Yes, I was going up the corporate ladder. By the time I was leaving, I was heading the trading team. So I had 6 people under me, dealers and all. And I loved it, but I felt like I was missing out on, the main milestones for my kids. And I felt God put me here to be able to raise my children.
Right.
So I had to make a decision. And of course, I just didn't wake up and tell my husband, hey, tomorrow I've quit, I'm not going to work. Yeah. So we had to sit and plan. It took a while. I kept on saying I'm going to do it. And I'm like, 1 year goes by, second year.
You're comfortable.
Yeah. So after a while, I was like, no. Now it's getting a bit much. And I'm not getting any younger. They're not getting any younger.
Exactly.
And so we had to sit and have like real discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do? How do we start? And we were like, okay, let's survive on one income and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And when we realized, yes, we can. So what are you going to do? Because yes, they'll start going to school. So Lefty Kenya, a bit of financial consulting here and there. And and that's how, but you have to have a plan.
Have a plan.
Yeah, you have to have a plan. And when you put that plan in place, then now it kind of like challenges you to now start working towards that plan, as opposed to just saying, I need to quit. Oh my God, this corporate world is so stressful.
Yeah.
I need to leave. Plan it out first. When you put it down, and you keep looking at it and saying, hey, I've told myself 2027, I need to be out there doing my own. Figure out what it is you want to do. Start investing in yourself. Just get yourself out there. Take courses on what you can do. Get yourself in networks of people who are doing what it is you want to do. Get to see and learn from their stories. And that sort of like sets you up for that time to come. But don't just wait.
Don't just
just wait.
There's something I heard about it. You're supposed to have at least like 6 times the salary that you're earning in savings at least to have such an idea.
I don't. Okay, I didn't have that. Yeah.
So how much did you have in the account?
We had to have enough for at least our babies in terms of just the necessities. So enough for us to have the basic needs, shelter, food, education. And we were like, okay, let's have like a 2-year buffer because again, I wasn't sitting at home doing nothing. I was going out and I knew I would not be able to make as much money as I was making in corporate, at least not for the first year or 2.
Right.
So we needed that as a cushion. And it was very important because I left in 2018 and then 2019, 2020, Corona hit.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Wow.
But we had an emergency fund, so at least we were able to ride that wave. So it's very important to have, but don't get scared by thinking I need to have 6 years and all that. Everyone's different. Us guys had to have more because we had 2 children. If you're single, then maybe you would need a year or so. Some dependent on your risk tolerance, because you also want to have some money aside that when you're sleeping at night and you're thinking, I've quit my job, I'm starting this business, you're still able to sleep. You're not there thinking, oh my God, I don't have. Yeah, you're losing sleep. So everyone's very different. And I think that's why it's good to have that conversation with someone who's an expert when it comes to financial planning.
Right.
So they understand where you are, where you're trying to get to, and then now they're able to map that with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very intentional planning.
Yes.
You've mentioned emergency fund. We really need to try and understand because we're saving, we're investing, but we're not thinking that much about emergency fund. Why is it important, especially for youth today, to actually, have that emergency fund somewhere?
Yeah. And I like the way you said, especially the youth, because I think one misconception the youth have is, I'm young, I still have time. But emergency does not know age, time. It can, you can get into an accident, anything can happen, you get sick, you're trying to access medical, and you know how medical can be costly. So for me, you have to think of an emergency fund as something that will give you a safety net, yes, and some dignity as well, so that when this emergency comes, you don't have to start begging people, adding people to WhatsApp groups, to bail you out. Yeah. And it also helps you to avoid debt because you realize most people get into debt when you come into an emergency and you're not prepared for it.
That's true.
Yeah, and you don't have, and I know we say, yes, please have 12 months, a year, 2 years and all, but you don't have to start with that big figure. Just start, move from having a 1-month emergency fund to 2 months to 3 months. Because sometimes when you look at that big figure, we get scared and you go like, I will never make it, so let me not even start.
Let me not bother.
Yeah, start with 1, grow it to 2, grow it to 6 months. But we all need it because emergency won't come knocking and telling you, here, you're going to get sick next month.
Yeah,
so prepare yourself, get like a health cover or be ready for this. No, you're out here working, you're healthy, and then suddenly things happen and you need millions and you don't have. So it's good to, and for your own peace of mind as well.
Exactly.
I always feel like when you know you have something set aside, man, there's some level of peace.
Relaxation.
Yeah, you are able now to go about everything else that you need to do to now save for other things that you need to do for now. Go on holiday, you're fine, you're okay.
Exactly.
You can enjoy because I have some cushion somewhere. You can invest because you have a cushion somewhere. So an emergency fund is very, very,
very important. And where would you advise people to put their emergency funds?
Please, not in the bank. I worked for 2 financial institutions, but not in the bank.
Yeah.
Let's have it somewhere where even that money that you're putting aside is working to grow and get you to that figure that you want.
Right.
So I would recommend, at least for here, if you're in Kenya, just put that money in a money market fund. And I know the other question would be, so which money market fund? You as an expert.
Tell us, not to pay ukweli.
No. So, and this is what I tell. So I can't tell you, take your money to Sanlam or take your money to CIC. What I would tell you is, when you think about where you want your emergency fund to be, there are 2 things to think about. So all this, of course, make sure that the fund manager is licensed. CMA the other day released their Q3 collective investment schemes report, which now shows in terms of market share who's managing the most money. So if you're the kind of person who goes like, yes, I want my emergency fund to be where I know those people are handling a lot of money, they must know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Then that is a list to follow. So you would go with Sanlam because then it has the highest market share as at now. If you want to say, okay, fine, I would want, yes, to go with a licensed and regulated fund manager, but I'm also keen on the returns, then you would be looking at, so what sort of returns is a fund manager giving me? Then now you'd maybe not go with the top 5 in terms of market share. You'd be looking at the likes of Etika, you'd be looking at the likes of Kuza, you'd be looking at the likes of Nabo. So I can't pinpoint and say go Sanlam or go Etika. Yes, but I would, you would need to sit with someone and explain, okay, for me, this is what would make me comfortable. Then I would say, okay, for you, can get Sanlam would work for you. For you, Etika or Kuza would work for you.
Where could someone get that collective list? It's on the website?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Or follow me. Look for me on Instagram. Yes. I will share it with you. I try to share as much in terms of free resources just to get people to understand. Yes, it is there, but not everyone will know where to go when they go to CMA website.
Exactly.
But they're also now, they're all digital. They're on our platform. So you can go Instagram. They're there and they do share a lot. So at least that bit we have to appreciate about our regulator. They do try to share that information.
Exactly.
But if not, if you check my stories today, I've actually shared that.
Oh, good. Follow Linda Makatiani. That is where the source is. So Linda, I actually want to really talk about something that is so pressing. We're currently in December. Na unajua ikifikanga hii mwezi sherehe is calling and then we have 41 days of December. So I want to talk about budgeting. How can we budget properly this month to avoid the January chaos that come? Let's start with youths, then we come to families.
So when you're budgeting as a youth, for December, I would actually say don't start in December, start in like October. Because part of your budgeting should be, what do I want to do for my festive season? Whether you're going to spend it with your family or traveling, looking for a destination, holiday for the festive season, you start it early enough so that you're able to save for it. Not the one for waking up and saying, I'm in December, I need to travel on the 23rd, and then now you start looking for
when things are expensive.
Yes, because then everything becomes expensive. You have not planned it out well, so you've not taken care of your basics, and yet here you're planning, for enjoyment, and then you'll come back and you realize, I don't have money for food.
I didn't need that enjoyment.
And that I did enjoy, but now I'm back to stress, like
reality
double.
check.
Yeah, so it's always good to plan for it early enough. you will enjoy even better. Try it. Or maybe now this year might not be, but next year, start planning for your Christmas, let's say even in June. So you finish half year, you're like, okay, for the next half of the year, I will start mapping out my Christmas, my festive budget. For families, I think it is the same. But then now you also start looking at what else can we do to make sure we don't inflate our festive budget. So things, and now let's say just look within. There are things that you can be able to do. When I was growing up and during Christmas, we would send out cards, Christmas cards, we would receive cards, we would decorate the house with cards, we would make those paper decorations at home, and we loved that. Like we do it with our mom, hang them on the walls. So, and that is, it's free. Okay, it's not as much as, trying to get all the expensive decorations and everything.
The DIYs.
And then you get to do it together. So you're also creating family memories. Look at things that we can do, we can come to Glee and have lunch.
Exactly.
And another day we can do a potluck as a family, invite relatives, everyone comes with something and, we put together. We can drive to a nice destination. So it doesn't have to be something very expensive. And for me, from experience, what we normally do is we would sit and we say, okay, so what do we want to do? Christmas, we normally spend it as a family, the extended family.
Yeah.
But after that, we do like a short family holiday. So what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? Early enough. And let me tell you, especially for the children, like mine will give you comparison and tell you, oh, we saw here, it is this much. These guys even have a discount. This one, we can even do this when we are there. So involve the kids. They will give you ideas. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to look for all the deals and everywhere. Those ones.
Those are the ones
free.
who know.
You have free labor. You have free labor in the house. Yes, they'll give you all those destinations. And then you just sit and you come through it.
Exactly.
But it's also to remember that after the festive season, there's January coming. If you have kids, you have school fees, you have shopping, you have things that sometimes we don't really think about. But it's good then to plan for both, not just the festivities, but then even even after. Because you want to come back, you've enjoyed, and then you're coming back to a nice, relaxed January.
Relax, not some more pressure.
Yeah, pressure and no.
Pressure January, in January,
No, we just you plan it out. When you plan things out, by the way, you find you enjoy it even better than you sitting there by the beach and wondering, hey, by the way, that's good fees. Nilipe nusu, or how do I start calling? And no.
Textbooks.
Yeah. Just be on that beach and enjoy the moment. Enjoy creating what we call family memory dividends. When you are there, you are in the moment. You're not thinking of 1 month down the line how it's going to be
looking. Yeah. I want to talk about managing the cultural expectations, especially during this time. So this is the time you want to travel, to go see your relatives. Talk to us about that and financial discipline. Like, should we visit them another time, Mama? What does that planning look like?
No, you can't visit. And that's where the emotions of money and how you manage money comes into play. Because you'd find with most of us, it would be you having an inflated budget over the festive season because we are going to go home now to the countryside, to shags, and all of us are coming. So you'd start feeling like, I know my cousin is going to come in his Range Rover, and talk about the way his kids, just closed school the other day because they're in an international school. And you're feeling some type of way. So you also want to be able to show that you are doing okay.
Exactly.
So this is, and that's the bit now which gets you renting, I don't know, a car, trying to do all these things.
Taking loans.
Taking loans, getting into bad debt, and all that. So you really need to be able to manage that. So live your reality, not comparison. Be able to accept where you are and then plan to grow yourself. We can visit, we can have nice times. As I said, just go to the countryside. You don't have to fly, you can drive. Enjoy watching the scenery as you head there. All these things. We always, to me, I find we overthink so much, and our overthinking and that bit of, people always say this, or what are they going to say about me if I show up like this? Well, that is very short term. But you're focusing on your long-term goal. I am going to show up driving and everything will be fine, we'll enjoy. But I am saving money because this is where I want my family to be. We want to buy that house. We want to buy that family car. They will talk short term, but you're growing long term.
Yes.
And I feel I always tell my clients, always think long term. Sometimes when we focus on the short term, we end up not really
making very poor decisions.
Yes, we make very irrational decisions because we are thinking of the short-term effects. We're not looking at long-term how it's going to affect our life. So yes, enjoy the short-term, but always think long-term.
Yeah.
Whether it's festivities, whether it's the new year, whether it's goals that you are working towards.
Going on vacation.
Yes, all those things. Always think, appreciate the short-term, but focus on the long term. What do you want to achieve in the long term?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important advice, especially now, especially for youths. The pressure on social media, you're like, hey, I've seen Nani has gone here. Pia mimi mam tunafanya nini?
I can do reels and all those things. I get them in my house. Yes, I get them in my house. But I have to explain. And this is advice I got because I was also a teen once, and I would ask these questions, and my mom would be like, those places you want to go and we can't go now. Imagine when you're able to go, they would have redecorated. It would have been better.
They look better.
Some stuff. So you can still get that experience. It doesn't have to be now, but it can be at some point.
Exactly.
If now you focus and you say, that is part of my goal. I would want to travel there, or I would want to do this. And if that becomes part of your goal, then you start working towards it. As you're working towards it, believe me, that place is getting better and better.
And better.
By the time you reach there, that was the right time for you to be there. Yes.
Exactly. Everything one step at a time.
One step at a time.
I want to talk about your children because this is a huge part of your life.
Yes.
So how do you instill confidence, especially with money, in your children at this young age?
In a very practical way. Because I realized us, the older generation, always talk about, I wish my parents had told me. I get that a lot when I'm doing one-on-one sessions with my clients. And we start off and I'm telling them, this is how we can grow your portfolio to this. And they go like, I wish I knew this earlier. I would have started. So I say two things. One, you are never late. You're only late if you never start. You being here and starting, that is enough. So we concentrate on from here. Where do we go? And then two, can we not have that conversations with the generation after us? Let them be able to say, I'm happy my parents taught me
this.
Yes, money management this early. I'm happy they got me to understand the investment options early on. And it's not about the theory bit, it's more of the practical bit. So for me, I'm very practical with everything. From when they were young, by the time I got their birth certificates, I opened a bank account for them. So, the junior bank accounts with their names. So we got the piggy banks. So from when they could understand this is money, this is paper, and this is money I can put in my piggy bank at some point. Mommy and I will go to the bank and we'll deposit this money. And next time we come and we do the same thing and it grows. And as they grow older now, we are doing investments. So by the time they turned to, I had opened brokerage accounts. So I was investing in stocks for them. And we would get checks and my husband would get very happy. He's like, my child doesn't even know, they can barely talk properly, but they're making money. It wasn't much money, but that, yes, as they grow older, now I involve them. I tell them, you see, that Safaricom, yes, you have shares in that company. That ABSA, you have shares in that company. And I explain to them now how it works. When we get money, I show them and I'm like, this is money that your money has earned because I'm putting this aside for you. Because one thing I realized when I was in corporate is I could see the intentionality behind parents who were very keen to grow the portfolios for their kids. But there are those ones who had not involved their children in it. So you reach a point where maybe, the parent passes on and this portfolio is being passed on to the child. And they come and they look and the first thing they say is, if I sell all this, I'm going to get all this money. And I'm like, no, your parent took such a long time to grow this for you. From 100 to 100,000 to $1 million to more than $1 million. And now you are coming and you're thinking, if I sell, I'll get all this money and I go spend it. So I'm always encouraging parents, please, let's not do it for them. Let's do it with our children. Take them through and all this. I do have sessions where I take teens through getting them to understand money, the value of earning. How do you value your time? How do you earn? Your parents can pay you for some jobs. I have my daughters doing work for me and my husband. and we pay them, and that money goes, and they're very keen. But then
that
they'll
is
say,
good.
they'll
Ma'am,
take,
you've
they'll
not
do timestamps
deposited?
here. Yeah, I did this for you. You said you're going to give me 500. Have you deposited that? They want to see what the balances are, how it's grown and all that. And I like that.
Yeah.
And I encourage parents
You're
to do that. So I'm
empowering
like,
them.
I will take them through the earning bit, the budgeting bit, the saving and investment options, but I want you as a parent to walk that journey with your child. So that when you reach a point where you're passing on wealth to them, you're not only passing on money, you've passed on a positive mindset, you've passed on financial confidence, and you can retire knowing your child is going to grow that wealth for your grandchildren. And your grandchildren for your great-grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren,
Best way.
yes.
Sustainable wealth.
Sustainable wealth.
Yes.
And this, you say a lot, train up a child in the way they should go.
And they will not
from a young
depart from
age.
it.
Exactly.
They will not. And that is knowledge that no one can take away from them. No one can take away from them. When they learn how to manage their money, when they're off in university, whether they go here or they go out abroad, you can sit back knowing my child can confidently maneuver their way, manage their money, even grow their wealth when they are out there. So we really need to start it and start it young.
And start it now.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk about transitions, like family transitions, and how this affect children. So you may find that there is a divorce happening in the family. You may find that maybe there is a stepmom or a stepdad coming into the family. How do you continue this conversation sustainably?
Yeah, I've been told I need to cover a lot more on that because when it comes to family and finances, we all don't come from a two-parent, happy, loving home. We have blended families, we have single parents. So they also need to be able to have that support and guidance on how to be able to manage finances with their children. But it's true, divorce can destabilize. And I find that in most cases, children are forgotten in that whole journey because as a parents, you're trying to deal with the emotions and the heartbreak and everything, and you forget even the kids are going through that. So then now you're having your parents living apart. You have the parent you're living with, then you have the one who you're not living with, trying to compensate their presence with money and presents and all that stuff. So you could be the parent who's living with the children and you're trying to instill money discipline, good money management and all that. And now the other parent is compensating for their presence using money. So you feel like you're fighting.
You're working backwards.
So it's good to have those conversations. And I always feel like if you've had financial literacy skills when you're in a union and this union for some reason breaks.
Did not work.
Yeah, but both of you still have these skills. As I said, these are skills that no one can take away from you.
Right.
So it is understanding that these are human beings that we are raising. We have our own issues, but we need to get to a point where we have to align on what we want. What are the financial values we want our children to grow up with, irrespective of whether we are together or not. Yeah, for me, that is very important. So those are some of the discussions that for parents who, divorced or not, have financial literacy skills, they're able to build that on their children.
Exactly.
Yeah, but for single parents, it's the same. It's just being able to understand that you are one person taking up two roles. And it's not the easiest, but it can be done. It has been done, and it can be done. It's now figuring out who can be part of your support system in being able to get your children to understand, grow in their finances as well. So if you're a mom and you're raising boys, if you have brothers, it's to involve them in your sons' lives, get them to understand how to be able to journey through life. And get them now to rally with you in getting them to understand, and grow their financial confidence. So support is very important. Family is very important. Finance is very important.
Community is very important.
Yes. Yeah. So don't think that you have to do it
everything
alone.
By yourself.
Yeah.
That's where you go wrong.
Yes. It becomes very overwhelming and you miss out some of these things. So you can do some, you can get your relatives, your community to be able to come in and help with others as well.
Exactly. And I think that's so important. And all this information, by the way, I've seen it on your page. So
yes,
Honestly, these are gems that we don't talk about so often. So I'm happy that you're sharing them.
Yeah.
And if you're still watching, remember to subscribe to the podcast. And also get your Tusker cider from KE The Bar. Hey, up here. Yes, there. Sorry to interrupt normal programming, but I come to you with 3 fun facts. Did you know Tusker cider is made from red apple? Not just any apples, imported red apples. Fun fact number 2. Did you know Tusker cider is the first cider produced locally in East Africa, premiumly made in Kenya? Fun fact number 3. Did you know Tusker cider is predominantly considered a female's drink because of the crisp, fresh taste? And that, my friends, is Tusker cider. Drink responsibly because you'll be exploding with taste. So, Linda, I want to talk about black tax. Hey,
wait.
Africans, I don't know if it's an African thing, but there's somehow we are stuck in black tax that you forget yourself in the process. That any money that you touch, lazima nitume huko nyumbani. How do you put yourself first?
How do I put it? For me, I feel like we need to stop complaining about black tax. I don't even know why it's called black tax. Is it? And I think maybe that is where people think,
that's where the problem started.
It's for black people.
Yeah.
Supporting your family is not bad. It's good. Maybe you are where you are because your family supported you.
Right.
That is very good. But we also have to be very intentional and remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Your parents did support you. I had someone say the other day that, wait, your parents didn't have you for you. They had you for themselves. Like, I felt like, I would want to have a mini-me running around. So I was like, I would want to have. So I sort of had like some selfish reasons for wanting to be a parent. And so as an individual, you also have to have some level of selfishness.
Right.
So yes, you can support, you can give back to the community that helped grow you to where you are. But you cannot grow from an empty. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And it is where now looking to see, one, yes, let me support. I can support financially, but I can also support by getting them to a position where they're able to be self-reliant. Yeah. So it will not be all the time I'm the one who's providing the fish for everyone to eat. I can be the one who says, okay, fine, you know what? I know where we can get those fishing nets. I know where we can get the fishing boats. I will put in some money for us to get the nets and the boats, but you guys have to go and fish. So what is it you want to do? I can pay a bit for your college. I can pay for you to acquire these skills, but from then on, fly. Because let's not also get into that trap for, I have to be the one providing for my family day in, day out. If my parents and all that. No, set them up for your younger relatives, help where you can, grow them, let them grow their skills. But let it not be now they're over-dependent.
You're feeding, spoon-feeding them.
No.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm very keen on that one. Grow, be selfish, because then if you want to be able to provide or help 5 or 10 years from now, what are you doing? You have to put something aside for yourself as well, don't you? Yeah, and then as well, now think about how can I be able to help them grow their skills so they can be self-reliant as well.
Yeah.
So no black tax.
No black tax. Okay, we're looking at it positively.
we have to end it. And we are being told with the Gen Zs, by the way, there'll be no black tax. So for us millennials, we have to sort ourselves. Our children are not our retirement
we plan ourselves early.
Yes, they're not our retirement plan. You have to sort out your retirement now. And encourage them to also sort themselves out, because that is also part of your retirement plan.
Exactly.
If I get my child to understand how to manage their money, save, invest, then I can retire in peace, because I know they won't start coming back to me asking me for money for my little pension, and now I have to start
distributing.
No. Yeah. So
I want to talk to the people who are drowning in debt. Especially people say 2025 has been a tough year. It has been for so many of us. Economy has, I don't know, I think it's just a global thing as well. So I want to talk about that, drowning in debt. How do you just manage it properly without getting so overwhelmed? You know, you get so overwhelmed and you forget that at the end of the day, your mentals are also as important as paying that debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk to them.
I feel debt stems from us not planning ourselves properly. And when I say planning ourselves properly, for most people think I can only plan myself properly if I have a source of income, or for most it will be if I'm earning a lot of money. For me, I say whatever little, because when you start with that little, that's what you're able to grow it. And that stems from us looking at the little that we have and we think it's not enough. We need. So you might be salaried, you are receiving, and you're thinking that salary is your limit. But your expectations are, I want to live in this neighborhood. I want to be able to go to these places and take those photos and share online. You know, I need to drive this car. And now those are the things which now end up getting you into debt. So one, we need to accept our reality. If we accept our current reality, it doesn't mean that is all you can be able to do. You can grow yourself with the little that you have. You'd spend on your basics. You'd be able to put something small aside. And I'm talking from 5,000 to 10,000 to 30,000. And this is not just for people who are earning $1 million, because even guys who are earning $1 million plus do get into debt
also
sometimes.
in debt.
Yeah, do get into debt. It's because we look at it from, I need so much more. My kids have to be in this school because people will talk about me if they are not. So one, accept your reality, but work towards, the future that you want. And if you do get yourself into debt, because sometimes you get emergencies and you can't help it, you have to go into debt, please always have an exit plan. As you're getting into this debt, however desperate you are, then have an exit plan. Look at it from, okay, fine, I'm going to get into this debt. How am I going to pay? What are the repayments? What adjustments do I have to make in my daily, my monthly?
Your habits.
Yeah. And then how do I avoid getting into debt next time? So why did I get into debt this time? Because I got this and I didn't have money for it. Can I start putting money aside for that one? So for me, that is very keen. Plan, accept your reality, plan, and then use that as a lesson.
Exactly.
Please don't get into debt for consuming. We always talk about good debt, bad debt, but I think people don't really think of it that much. If you find yourself getting into debt and whatever it is you are just consuming, it's not going to help you to pay, because there is good debt. You can get into debt, a bit of debt, go to school, improve your skills, get a better job, and improve your life. You can get into a bit of debt, maybe purchase an asset, a house, get a mortgage, and at some point it becomes an asset. It starts giving you back, whether rental income. You can get into debt. Companies get into debt all the time. Safaricom is getting into debt by asking us to loan them money for projects that they have. But it's looking to see, so what is this debt for? How am I going to pay it? What adjustments do I have to make so that at least I can be able to pay it off? And then what can I be able to do so that next time I don't have to get into debt? Yeah. Whether you're young, you're old, it's very important.
Cuts across.
Yeah, it's very important. Even on your own emotions, you're getting into debt when you know how you're going to get out of it. It's easier for you.
Exactly.
Yes, than being there and you can't
not having a plan.
Or you don't have a plan. You can't pick your phone because you don't know who's trying to call you.
Debt collectors.
No. Yeah, we only live once.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you want to make the most of your life.
So
just plan it out as best as you can.
As you can. And let's talk to the youth about mobile loans, because it's becoming a silent addiction. That mara moja tu, acha tu nifulize sahi, acha tu nichukue ya mshwari. Talk to the youth about just these loans. How can they be detrimental to your planning?
Those, and those are the small habits that we always think, just once, or because I need to go out here and I don't have, let me just fuliza, I'll go. But when you look at the interest rates that you have to pay, this money, that small money that you are borrowing, and you're paying, and you were always told, the wise are the ones who earn the interest. The foolish ones are the ones who pay that interest. So you don't want to be the one who's
paying. On that side.
You want to be the one who, that money, it's coming back to you and it's calling its friends and relatives, come this way. So it's when you start looking at, so how much money have I taken from this mobile loan, and then how much am I paying?
Right.
Yeah, and look at it in totality. When you look at that figure, let me tell you, by
You'll
the
be
way,
surprised.
it will move something in you, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, no. And that is money that is going out there. And then start asking yourself, is it money that I really needed?
Yeah.
Did I really have to go and buy those things,
Yeah.
those shoes,
Yeah.
or that outfit? Honestly, I didn't have to. Does it? That opportunity cost, because that money that you are borrowing and you are paying that much interest, that interest that you have to pay is money that you would have done something else with. You would have invested it somewhere, and it would have grown
Exactly.
for you. But you now
It's
have
here
to
incurring interest.
Interest every single day. So for me, it's just that for the youth, please remember that these habits that we think, it's just words. That's how habits form.
That's how they
and
form.
then you end up getting into debt, serious debt. You end up getting into a relationship and you're in serious debt. You end up having relationship issues when you're married because now you did not disclose you had debt and you are being chased here. So let's avoid as much as you can. Think
Exactly.
of that interest as you're paying as robbing your future self.
That's true.
And I hope that
sinks.
Yeah, that sinks.
You talked about your partner, having these conversations with your partner, money conversations. You know, people get into relationships thinking, tutajua uko mbele. How do you start this? How did you start these conversations with your partner?
One question I get asked all the time. So when should we start? When we are dating? When we're already married? Or, the day before we get married, like, hey, by the way, before I say I do tomorrow,
Yes.
I thought we should. I think we all know at that point when you get serious with someone and when it's mutual. And I always say it doesn't have to be, where is your paycheck? Let me see how much you earn. How are we going to be doing this? It's now being very keen and starting to observe what are their money habits. When you go out, how are they spending? When you start talking about, let's take a holiday or let's plan this wedding, let's plan our future together, what's their take on it? And from that, you can start just slowly picking about them. And then from that, conversations flow. And yes, sometimes for some, because we are very different, even my partner and I are very different. I talk a lot about money. He may not outwardly talk about it, but now I guess he's been in my life so long, so he doesn't have a choice.
Exactly. No, it's true. Men, I don't know if it's a men's thing, but men really like having these conversations.
I get it a lot when I'm doing like couple sessions. And if it's a couple session and it's the woman who said, I'll bring my husband, we can talk. He'll be like, yes, I agree with her. Yes, I agree with her. But if it's a man who's like, now I want to involve my wife, we'll have a session together. The wife will come and open up. And just share, I feel like we can do like this and what. So we won't all be the same when it comes to the conversations. But I always say, if you keep having them, they might not be, very responsive and everything, but it just grows on them slowly. And finally you find yourself like, now we are actually having a full conversation. But yes, just pick those signs. Start having those conversations. Please don't be judgmental. You're always buying these designer things, or you're always thinking, no. Just come at it from a point of trying to understand why are they thinking the way they are about money? Why are they making the decisions they are about money? And then what can you be able to do together to change that? It can be as easy as just maybe having like a session and sitting together and having someone independent just sharing about money. It could be they don't have the financial literacy skills that maybe you had when you were growing up. So it's now exposing them to that so that you can be able to plan together. But it's very important. The other bit when it comes to couples is I'm always being asked, so then do we have to do everything together as a couple? Have joint accounts, joint investment accounts? And I say yes because, not yes to everything. Yes, do have a shared vision. Work on things together, have a joint financial plan, but then you can also retain your individuality. When I was coming into my marriage, I was already investing because I was in the space. I was seeing people making money. I can't be talking to people, helping them and not doing. So I was already doing so. He had a bit of exposure from his parents as well. So when we came together, we were like, yes, we can be able to do this for us. I'll be able to do this for the children, grow in terms of their own investment accounts. But I retained mine as well. So he has visibility. He knows what I'm doing and everything. We have ours. I have mine. He has his. His he's on mine as well, in terms of, if anything happens to me, he would be able to
access
yes,
it?
he can access, he knows what it is. So there is no secret around it. So it's not a secret.
Yes.
He doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be joint and everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yes, you can retain your individuality, but do have a shared vision, do have a shared financial plan as a couple. Because then again, what are you working towards if
That
you are
is
together
true.
and everyone is
Doing
in
their own thing and going
in
their own ways.
Yes, but
Yeah.
let them have visibility over what you are doing.
Yeah.
Maybe a say here and there about maybe changes that you can make. Because, man, do you know we have so much money sitting in unclaimed financial assets? Why?
Yes.
Because we have spouses who took up, it's a good thing to invest, to grow your money, but you don't tell your other half, you don't tell your family.
That you had this
And then
asset.
you don't know, you don't know when God is going to call you home. You go and that's it. They don't know. They didn't even know you have. So
Yeah.
you see, if they knew, they would know where to start.
Exactly.
They don't know what you have. So they don't know where to start. So they're sitting, they could be wallowing in poverty somewhere. And meanwhile, there's money out here that they would have. Yeah, it's a very sad
very
state.
unfortunate.
And for me, I think that was one of the other key things. I was like, we have to talk about money.
this. Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about it. Parents, talk to your kids about money. Oh my God.
Your partner.
Yeah,
They need to know.
Couples, please talk. Let them know. Don't let the state enjoy your
Claim
money.
all the money you've been working hard
Yeah,
for.
because it's sitting there in unclaimed financial
Exactly.
assets. It's earning interest, but this is money that would have been helping your family out
That's
here.
true.
Yeah, so let's
That's
talk
true.
about it. It doesn't
That's
mean
true.
that they are going to take over and all
And
that
they-
stuff, but
yeah.
they need to have visibility as to what you are doing.
What you're doing. And I think that is very important advice. I think you've just hit the nail on the head.
Please, families,
Yeah.
couples, parents,
take this
please,
seriously.
young ones, please ask your parents, engage them in those discussions.
Yeah.
I always say, I tell the young ones, the younger generation, because they go like, oh, it's very hard for me to start asking my parents, what are your retirement plans and everything. And I tell them, if you have siblings, there is one sibling who is able to indulge your parents in that conversation and they will crack.
Yes.
Use that sibling. Let them be the one to initiate that conversation, and then the rest of you come and rally and get to understand. But it's very important for us
Very
to have.
important.
Yeah, it's very important.
I like that. I like that perspective. I know we're almost at the top of the hour. I feel like we're getting so many gems. Oh, goodness. Linda, I will look for you personally.
Karibu sana.
Yeah, you have a client in me. Just before we wind off the conversation, I want to talk about weekly habits. Leave us with this. What are the weekly habits we need to have? They say at least, useme, this week I am putting 5,000 aside for this entire week. Ikiisha katikati, I will survive.
Yes.
So what weekly habits do you have and how can we adopt them?
So you start with daily habits because you have to grow them from daily to weekly. So set, and sometimes you find when you set those, I would say small targets and you realize them, they motivate you to get into the weekly one, into the monthly one, into the quarterly ones, half year, full year. So start with those small daily habits. When you have goals that you're working towards, try and break them down and see, so what can I be able to do? Yes, I'm trying to get my emergency fund to 120,000 at the end of the year. So that is me trying to save 10,000 a month. So what can I be able to put aside every other day to grow it into that one, as opposed to thinking, oh yeah, I have to get 10,000 or I have to get 120 or I have to make sure by June I have 60, and all that. So break them into very small, manageable goals, and then let those small manageable goals grow up.
Compound,
Yes, compound into that. And the other bit as well, I'd like to encourage, as you're doing that, just remember that yes, you're working towards this goal, but also invest in yourself. When you talk about investing in yourself, and invest in yourself daily. Listen to that podcast, Be That Woman podcast.
Yes.
Get these gems that you are
Yes.
receiving here. Be able to just read, join webinars, free webinars here and there. I normally do free webinars here and there, just on topics that my clients have asked. and attend those events. So these are small daily,
Habits.
weekly things that you can be able to do that, cumulatively will get you to that goal that that you want. And that's investing in yourself. Pay yourself and pay yourself weekly, pay yourself daily if you can, and just be able to break that money. So if I say I can save 200 or 250 today because I didn't have lunch, I'll just have one nice meal.
Yeah.
Where does that 250 go? Will I spend it tomorrow because now, I have an extra 250, So yes, you have to have a goal.
Yeah.
We are told every shilling needs to have a plan. Where are you going to put it? It's being able to break it and say, so this one I'm going to pay myself. And paying yourself means, I always say, look at the action of paying you. When you're being paid, money is coming to you. So this money that I'm saying is going to pay myself, whether it's weekly or daily, it's money I'm going to put somewhere which will grow so that that money that I've put pays me with interest and all that. Yeah. So when you start doing that, you realize you're able to accomplish so much as opposed to doing like, 1 year I'll...
Then you get overwhelmed.
Yes, you get overwhelmed. It's a lot of money.
And it's actually, it's not going to be rewarding in the short term because you're just putting, but you're not
long-term view. I keep insisting, think long-term. That 120 is going to grow to 240. It's going to grow to, oh my God.
Yeah.
But you have to do it and you have to think, what is the long-term benefit of me starting this journey now, me starting saving now, me starting my investment journey now. So don't think of, it's only 5,000 or it's only 3,000. Just that 3,000. At some point, it will get to 500K. At some point, it's going to be 1 million.
Yes.
And all that. But you have to give it that time to get there. And just that discipline and consistency is what will get you there. Ask anyone who's saving, who's investing, who's in business and they're growing their business, they will tell you time is that secret. Discipline and consistency, and then you give it time, best source, best results, best everything.
I like that. That is such a way to mic drop. Oh, you've articulated it so well. I think I've learned so much, and I want to give out one quote. Your financial freedom is not just for you. It's a gift to the generations after you. Exactly. So think about that. Yes. And Linda, we have a gift for you. Just for coming to the podcast. I know you have shared. This is a very beautiful
chat. I love this.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. Your Christmas season, courtesy of Tusker Cider. Very thoughtful gifts, by the way. I know you will love them.
Wrapped nicely.
Very well wrapped.
Hey,
festivities have begun. Namtume gifts.
Christmas season is here.
Yes. So you'll get to see all that's there.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate. You have a microphone, you have a gimbal, you have candle, you have pineapple, dried pineapples, and you have cans of Tusker cider. So and a tote bag. Imekuja pia hiyo.
So now,
yes.
God is good.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you've been so amazing, and I think if someone has not learned from this, ni wewe tu hutaki kujua. So follow Linda, check out her podcast. She has so many gems that she's giving out. Kwanza on Instagram, that is where you digest very fast to collect Safaricom bonds are out there.
Yes.
Think about them, EABL bonds.
Let's grow together. Finance is not hard. It can be simple. And I encourage you, please do follow Linda.Makatiani on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook as well. And engage me if you have any questions, you're not sure on how to do, please do reach out. I do one-on-one sessions with clients. I do one-on-one sessions with couples. I sit with families to talk to them about financial literacy. So let's talk.
Let's talk.
2026 needs to be different.
Itakuwa mwaka yetu, by the way.
Amen.
Financial discipline. You have all the financial literacy here. So check out Linda Makatiani again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, for coming to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
And
Can I say Merry Christmas?
Yes! Unataka kuimba ama?
No. That one I was not blessed with. I can talk money, but the singing bit, I think God there was like, by the time he was done with me, alisahau
your part. Yeah, wish them a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Do enjoy, whether you're spending it with family, with friends. Let's be intentional in growing our memory dividends, but also just remember long term. Yeah? January is coming. 2026 December is also coming. We can enjoy some more. So let's do it with intention, but do have yourselves a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Filled with memory dividends.
Memory dividends, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy.
And if you've watched this far, I hope this has helped you up your game in your financials, because budgeting is important, investing is important, saving is important. So if you're not starting now, you need to start yesterday. Hakuna options. So I have been your host, Joy Meadow, and she has been our guest,
Linda Makatiani.
And this is the end of this episode. So until we meet again, thank you guys and see you next time.